The world knew him as untouchable. A man wrapped in wealth, power, and silence. His name whispered in boardrooms and magazines was Alexander Knight, the billionaire no one dared approach. His fortune was unmatched, his empire indestructible, yet behind the walls of his sprawling mansion lived a man broken by scars, both visible and unseen. The accident had happened years ago, but its consequences never left him. Half his face bore the cruel marks of fire, his skin etched with reminders of pain. The mirror had become his enemy, and the world, his harshest judge. People feared him, pitied him, or wanted something from him. But no one truly looked at him. No one stayed, until Clara wasn't part of his world. She wasn't a socialite or a business rival. She was a teacher, gentle yet strong, someone who had known her own share of loneliness. She first saw him at the library of all places, an odd setting for a man of his status. He was there in the corner, half hidden in shadows, flipping through an old leather-bound book. People glanced his way, then quickly looked away, whispering behind their hands. Clara noticed the scars, yes, but what struck her more was the way his hand lingered on the page, as if the words were his only company. When their eyes met, he expected the same reaction he always got: fear, disgust, or false politeness. Instead, Clara smiled. Not the kind of smile that tried too hard or pitied him. Just, warm. Genuine. It unsettled him more than insults ever could. Their paths crossed again when she agreed to tutor one of his employees' children at the estate. The mansion was intimidating, its walls echoing with silence, but Clara carried sunlight with her presence. She asked questions. She laughed with the child. She wasn't afraid to look at Alexander, though at first, he kept his distance. He told himself it was temporary, she would leave soon, like everyone else, but Clara kept showing up. One evening, she found him sitting by the piano, his fingers hovering over the keys but never pressing down. She dared to sit beside him. "Do you play?" she asked softly. "Not anymore," he replied, his voice sharp, a shield against kindness. "Why not?" "Because music, it demands to be felt. And I'd rather feel nothing." Clara didn't argue. She simply placed her hand on the piano, letting silence fill the space. "Maybe you don't have to feel everything," she whispered. "Just enough to remind yourself you're alive." That night, Alexander dreamt of her smile instead of his scars. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, against his will, he began to wait for her visits. He noticed the way her eyes lit up when she taught, the way she carried compassion without weakness. She asked about his favorite books, his late mother's garden, even the stars he used to watch before the accident. Questions no one else cared about, and for the first time in years, Alexander answered, but opening his heart was dangerous. His world was cruel, and love was a risk. The scars on his face were nothing compared to the scars on his soul. What if she left when she realized how broken he truly was? What if he gave her a piece of himself only to watch her walk away? One evening, frustration overcame him. He confronted her in the garden, his voice harsh. "Why are you here, Clara? What do you want from me? Money? Pity? To prove you're some kind of saint who can endure the monster?" Her eyes filled with tears, not of fear, but of hurt. She stepped closer, her voice trembling but firm. "I'm here because I see you, Alexander. Not your scars. Not your fortune. You. And if you can't believe that, then maybe you're the one choosing to stay alone in the shadows." The words cut deeper than any wound he had known. She left that night, and the silence of the mansion was heavier than ever. For the first time in years, he felt true fear, not of being judged, but of losing someone who had dared to love him. Days passed before he found the courage to go to her. He showed up at the small school where she taught, awkward among the children's laughter. She looked at him in surprise, her heart racing as their eyes met. In front of everyone, Alexander lowered his walls. His voice cracked, but he spoke anyway. "You said I was hiding in the shadows. You were right. But when you walked in, Clara, you brought light. And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose you." The classroom faded. The scars, the whispers, the doubts, they no longer mattered. Clara walked toward him, tears in her eyes, and for the first time, he didn't flinch when someone touched his face. Her hand traced the lines of his scars gently. "You're not a monster, Alexander. You're a man. And I choose to stay." And in that moment, the scarred billionaire, once untouchable and unloved, finally believed in love again.